Thanks, y'all. Well, I had a request for a train that's bound for glory. I wrote a gospel song a couple of years ago. I was living in New York City. I really was living out of my car. I don't know if Jewel really lived out of her car, but I really did live out of my car. I had no place to live, and I was living in LA, and I had been there for 8 years, and I don't know why I left. I got a bug up my ass to move to Nashville, which I can't explain it. I don't know why, because I proceeded to move to Nashville for 3 of the most useless years of my existence. So I lived in Nashville for the 3 most useless years of my existence, and then I decided that I wanted to move back to LA, but first I needed to go to New York, because everybody needs to live in New York for a year. That was my thinking. So I moved to New York, and I had no place to live, and I was living out of my car, which I will say one night got broken into in Williamsburg, but that's a whole other story. Well, that's the end of the story, but anyway, so I was living out of my car, and I was staying with this friend of mine who had this very strange living situation. He lived in kind of like it was kind of a dorm kind of place where there was a shared bathroom and a shared kitchen, which, I don't know, I just wasn't digging on that. But anyway, so I was staying there, and I remember I was talking to my mom, and she had told me this story that she thought was so funny about, my mom's parents. My granddad is kind of a wallflower, because my grandmother's kind of a bulldozer. She really is. She just like runs over everybody, and I've never really liked her that much because she was kind of mean to me when I was a kid. She didn't think she was being mean, but she was just bossy, and she just didn't get me. You know what I mean? She was always trying to push frilly, dressy things on me, and she made me wear pumps and things like that, and pumps like little heels. Yeah, pumps. I didn't know if there was a language barrier with that. Yeah, pumps. Yeah, dude. Garrison wearing pumps. No Caprende, no worky. So it was, and it was just she just didn't like who I was. She just couldn't make sense of it. It always made me feel like crap. And my mom's always been, trying to force me to have a relationship with her, and I just never really wanted to. And so I guess they were having a birthday party for my granddad, and down in Mississippi, where I'm from. And my granddad, it was his birthday, and he's kind of an Eeyore, he's just kind of a Debbie Downer. Yeah, he is. He's just kind of a Debbie Downer. And, this is some psychological insight into my family life, which you probably didn't pay to find out about. It unfortunately comes with the ticket price, along with many other things. But they were having this celebration for him, and he brings the whole party down by saying, "Yeah, well, I expect I'm not going to be around for next year's birthday. Yeah, I expect this is going to be my last birthday party." And, my mom's freaking out because she's so codependent. She's like, "Daddy, don't say that!" And she starts crying, and it's this big deal. And so, then it's working, so he continues on by saying, "Yeah, I can hear the whistle on the train that's bound for glory calling me home." So at first it was this really sad story, but then my mom calls and she says, "Listen to what Papa said." So she told me that story. So I wrote this song called "The Train That's Bound for Glory." And I wrote it for my family, and I guess I kind of wrote it because I was feeling lost in New York with no place to live, living out of my Honda Accord. And I guess I was grateful just for feeling like I wasn't alone in that moment. And I couldn't have felt that way if I hadn't grown up in church and at least had that foundation for faith. It's the rest of it's a story over a cocktail or a conversation. Theo, we've had this conversation before, I think. But anyway. So sing along or clap along if you want to, but this goes out to my family. It's called "The Train That's Bound for Glory." There is a train that's bound for glory, and no one knows when it will come, but when it does, I will be ready, and I will leave my trust nobody, 'cause I was too afraid to be let down. But when that train comes to